said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, fix I'm back. Now I'ma run it up. Snooze on the kid that you done with what? You better go get your numbers up. Now throw me the oop. I gotta hire a Jerry Maguire. I'm tired of hearing it. Show me the
Two. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy William Zillions. We're here back with another episode of IFO Radio. Now, if you don't know, IFO Radio, this is the International Film Operations, an international film festival that exhibits films and gives opportunities to storytellers on a mission to provide a rewarding experience to filmmakers all around the world. Why we are the best? Because we care more about the filmmaker, making them tell their stories with their limited skills and resources, because the filmmakers deserve more than just credits. You know what I'm saying? We exhibit, judge, review, promote, reward, experience, and new filmmakers who want to compete among the best, international, at the highest level possible. This is IFO Radio, you feel me? William Zillions. So we got, as per prescribed, as per our use, we got an awesome guest here, ladies and gentlemen. A true subject matter expert on the spectrum of post-production, because that's the topic of tonight's discussion. You know what I'm saying? Post-production, the intricacies of it, the importance of it, how to keep soul in it. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're gonna talk some talk. It's gonna be fun. Bringing y'all cordially, I'd like to introduce my good friend we just met, but hey, my good guy, Mr. Robert DiCaro, right?
DiCaro, yeah, you got it right off the jump. I just want to pronounce
that right.
Yeah. Right
Mr. Robert DiCaro, you know what I'm saying? He's a seasoned veteran in the industry of film, and I'm not going to talk your ear off about him. He's here. I'd love for you to just talk to the people. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? And why do you love film?
I feel like film had like oh man, running back.
Yeah.
off the jump. No, my name is Rob DiCaro. Yeah, I've been working in the film industry now professionally for about like 13 years, but I've always known that I want to actually be in filmmaking since I was a kid. Actually, I'm gonna take it off my wall really quick. The photo, so everything, these are like photos I've taken, but like this is me holding the first Polaroid I ever took beside like the Polaroids I take, you know what I'm saying? So that like inspired me. My grandfather also like was a videographer in the war, so it's been in my blood forever. Like I just knew I needed to do it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, professionally I've worked in the camera department for a long time.
What is it for you that like drew you to the camera? What made you decide that your best form, your brightest shine out of your light that you can culminate was through the lens? What drew you to it?
It's a good question. So I would say it's the perspective for which we see something. If you take like a tree, you could look at it from like thousands of different angles, and you're going to see and appreciate different things at that particular moment. And when you're telling a story, all the words particularly matter because all these things are happening right now. So how can we kind of showcase that in a great way to kind of tell you that story, not just verbally, but subconsciously, on many other fronts and levels.
Yeah.
So it's to kind of like showcase those words the best way, because every single detail matters.
Especially you're talking about the tangible part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like all of these, because we talk pre-production and production, everything like that.
Yep.
This is when the record is on. This is when we're making the art. This is the actual tangible creation of it, which I think is really special. So 8 years, you would say, almost a decade. Kudos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Superior. What is it for you that you feel like is the new or something fun that's come across your ear as far as the direction of or the multiple directions of which film is going? Like there's a lot of innovations right now. short film, something that's really like for me as a viewer, as a fan, as a lover of film for a really long time, super fanboy, standboy for film.
Yeah.
What avenue of innovation in film has you the most excited right now?
Oh man. I feel like there's a lot more potential and opportunity for people to make really good cinematic stories. And even in the vein of like short film, being able to consolidate them in short form deliverables, I think is really important too, because it's the same thing as like an elevator pitch. It gets you in, it gets you out. You know exactly what's going on instantly. There's no fluff. It's even more direct. It's even more direct. So, and then if you know that you're only going to have to consolidate all these things into this amount of time frame, that's what you need. And for years and years, we've been getting just kind of trained to take in shorter form content. And we've been aware of this for over 10 years too, like even 2.5 minutes on fucking, I'm sorry, 2.5 minutes on like,
you can speak freely. Okay. You're allowed to speak. This is IFO Radio, ladies and gentlemen.
I bet. So it's like, 2.5 minutes, you're like, oh no, you can't do that. It's too long. We're like 5 minutes, like, oh, you have to be, you're in a very specific audience when you're doing that. And to be able to contain like or maintain a story like that is important. And for a while, people were able to do that in like 7 seconds. And now we're back up to went to 15, then 30 seconds. Now we're all over the place. But I think as long as we are continuing to push the direction of like how short or how long can we tell a story, and does it matter or does it not matter type of deal. And we have to make those decisions within the storytelling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. It's like prioritizing that the story is good over prioritizing how long it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's the space we're in right now, which I'm really happy about as a creator, is that like, no one really cares how long your shit is, fam. It better be good the whole time though. Because if I'm gonna watch it, it better be fire the whole time. So post-production, when I think post-production, I'm thinking visuals. Okay. I'm thinking about all of the special effects that go into the movies that I really fanboy over,
Sure.
Like, even so in my mind, in my darkest corner fantasies, I dream about a movie that would be so excellent. If Guillermo del Toro took the reins on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, oh my God. Yo, bro, listen, huh? What if Guillermo del Toro directed a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie?
Live action. Right? Live action. Live action.
I had to let it marinate for a second. I just
they definitely have the potential to make something like that happen.
But that's what I mean.
In this world of post-production, what we're doing right now, yeah,
what we're doing right now, what we're capable of, the amounts of teams on the planet who are running it up. Because I don't know how long. I know I'm not the only person that sticks around for a post-credit scene on a Marvel movie or on most movies now, because most movies have them. And you're sitting through the credits, and then the special effects section gets there, and it's like,
oh man,
a brick of names, like,
yeah.
But a brick of names with like, it's like a catacomb of teams that are just like steaming with professionals, man.
It's beautiful.
It's just beautiful, fam. They out here killing it.
Yeah.
Thanos, Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, those are crazy.
They're not there. They're not even. Not really. I mean, but they understand the physics of it. They're able to. There's a lot of really great software out there right now that creators are using in the post-production space. Like there's like Cinema 4D, Maya, friggin' all of these really
new
like
Engine 3D.
The new which engine just dropped? The fifth one. Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5. I remember playing Unreal Tournament on Xbox Original. You feel me?
Oh, I remember that.
Fast-paced first-person shooter in going crazy on my medium-sized video, like television screen. Like I was killing it back in high school. However, the technology now and the tools that I feel like we and I think to some degree we like leaned into it. Like I'll say we, but I'm looking at it as a fan. But looking at it from a fan at the creatives, it seems as though they really leaned into the technology and sort of stepped away from the practical element a lot in a lot of films these days, as far as like why is Spider-Man predominantly CGI? You know what I'm saying? Like why I understand why Thanos is CGI. That makes sense. I know why the Hulk is CGI fully. I get it.
Yeah, for the size and spectrum of them. Eye lines for when they're shooting them.
But I love it though. I love it. I'm not complaining. I think it's beautiful.
Well, you remember, I mean, like Iron Man 1. You can remember Tony only wore the suit in Iron Man 1. Yeah. It honestly comes down to just cost and performance. If it enables them from being able to give the performance. I actually was just watching the documentary Val the other day. I don't know if you've seen that. No. Val Kilmer made a documentary that he's recorded throughout the years, but it's a beautiful documentary.
About him? It's about Val Kilmer?
He shot it too. And it's like he narrated parts of it before watch check it out. Wow. It's a beautiful film. It's a beautiful thing.
That's cool as hell.
But it's just kind of I forgot, I lost the train a little bit off of Val.
We're talking post-production, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about these crazy ass VFX and shit, special effects. I don't know if it's is that the right term? I shouldn't say VFX, right? I should say special effects. Y'all let me know if I gotta say that. I'm sorry.
Wait. What was I lost what I was saying right before I said that about Val?
We were talking about friggin' Marvel, Thanos. Why is
the CGI? Yeah. Okay. No. I remember now.
Okay. We back. IFO Radio, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
We talking post-production.
No. I got it. So the reason why Val Kilmer didn't want to do the second or like a following Batman was because he wanted to do something that was about the heart of the story, and he couldn't do that because when he was in the suit, it was only his chin. He didn't feel like he could act, and he couldn't hear things and be able to perform the same way. And an actor's role, an actor's job is to be able to perform, be able to do, and be able to tell these stories genuinely, organically. And if they're not listening, they're just stating, they can't really read off of the energy and that really like tell a story on like another level. You know what I mean? Because stories are told on many levels.
Yeah, of course.
And for an actor that's giving up their time and their energy and, you know, diving into this particular role in person, to not be able to do that organically and genuinely, it like discredits their own art. So I think that in time it became, all right, well, now the actors are going to have to show up 3 to 4, maybe 5 hours beforehand and go through all this extensive makeup and art. Now, after the fact, now they're going to go through these things, and they could go through this for a couple more hours, maybe 4 or 5. I mean, they're obviously going to have like a break in between that, which they have to be careful then not to mess anything else up. Yeah. So it's a lot of strain and stress also on them as a performer. So if they're able to kind of get into the meat of it all a little bit quicker, it's kind of, it might help the art a little bit, and it also kind of changes the overall cost of the production in doing so.
Fair.
But I do think that, you know, there's a world where there's a practical suit that they could wear at a point in time in it, but for the most part, they have to kind of be free from it.
I feel that.
You know,
that too. Yeah, that's the fluidity of it. I fully understand it. I mean, as much as I can fully understand.
Yeah.
I feel like I understand that, how you explained it.
Well, I did, after I did film school, I did 2 years of acting school too, to kind of be able to bridge those two worlds together for when I'm able to direct.
So do you feel, how about this? You be Spike Lee? How you feel about Spike Lee, bro? You be hopping in front? You be hopping in front of the camera?
I directed a music video last month that'll be coming out like Q1. And I'm only in it for like 2 seconds, but there's only exactly. You just kind of implant yourself like here and there, little points where you can, and in other things, just where I can. Like, you know,
Yeah, it's art. Yeah,
A little bit,
it's art. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be direct, but just a little bit.
Yeah, you
And at a
pulling
point in
your
time.
you Stan Lee, and you getting your Stan Lee on. I
Yeah.
feel that, bro. That's fire. Friggin' so for the listeners out there, tell us what a perfect moment means to you. You know, if you guys, ladies and gentlemen, we introduced the professional subject matter expert this evening, Mr. Robert DiCaro. He has an awesome website you can check out. You can find him on Perfect Moment Media, perfectmomentmedia.com.
Perfectmomentmedia.com.
Yeah. And you can get a glimpse into how he sees the world through his lens to some degree. So what does that mean? Like, what inspires you to name your project, your company, your business, your baby Perfect Moment? Is that something you're after? Is that something you feel like you've captured already? Is it something that you feel like will always escape you? I don't know. How do you feel? Like what was it that in essence, what drives you to? Because perfection's a fucking crazy concept in its entirety.
Yeah, because there's no thing exactly like perfect. It's perfectly imperfect, and it's within the imperfections that you could find things that resonate with even more people. And for those micro moments, it's perfect.
Yo, my son's spitting, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, Rob DiCaro, all right? Google my mans, all right? He out here spitting. I'm trying to tell you. I'm listening, but he's spitting. Yo, there you go. 8 years. What does it mean for you as a cinematographer, director of photography in the industry that is in an industry that's always evolving, constantly being pulled in different directions based off what's trending? Where do you find that you can keep your voice loud and true to yourself in a world of like, always evolving, always trending content or creation?
Well, I think regardless on anything else that's like happening around you, you kind of have to be true to yourself. And not to say anything like that's honestly like cliche, but truly, like, you're going to be fighting the battle until other people could see the fight. And it's only as much as you're going to be a warrior in your own fight will people be able to see how brave and like kind of like what you're going to do. And then for that, then you could kind of create your army at that exact same time. But you have to be brave. You have to be willing to kind of step into the unknown. You have to get in and go round for round, honestly. And it's not about winning maybe the entire fight. It's just, or that fight that particular day, but it's just fighting the next round, fighting the next one, going constantly. So that's what I would honestly say.
I'm happy to be alive right now as a creator and as a fan of film because of the element of scale and how visually we are able to depict scale greater now than ever before. The movie The Eternals I saw, I don't know if you saw The Eternals. I saw The Eternals. There was a lot of things happening in that movie. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about that film, though, was their use of scale. I loved how large an Eternal is versus like a regular human versus like a planet and versus like a distant universe. And I feel like they did a really good job at like capturing those massive landscapes that showed you how small this being was next to this like gigantic, like enormous, endless, infinite being. And I said Guillermo. I was talking about Guillermo del Toro movies because he's always been somebody who's like practical effects is heavy. But I think his practical effects, he's been in this space for a really long time from when I've been watching where he uses CGI supplementally in a really refreshing way. And I think like I understand it too. I was just watching what do you call it? Special effects artist react on YouTube. I
Okay.
follow the VFX guys on there, and they often have people come to their couch and talk about stuff. And they
Mhm.
had Seth Rogen on there, and Seth Rogen was
Oh,
talking about
man.
like just like how expensive practical effects are, and like how
Yeah.
like oh, and they also had the gentleman Adam from Mythbusters.
I want to say no.
Buddy with the glasses. That maybe they
Yeah,
both had
yeah.
glasses. That's not a good description. However, like they were both talking about special effects and how like most where the industry
Savage.
is as a whole, for the most part, a lot of the studios don't want to do a lot of practical stuff because of time, as you said, you know, like the economical stuff where it's sort of
Yeah.
taxing on the front end.
Yeah.
But like post
Oh
production is like
man. I just
it's
thought
like
of something else too. But
nah,
say your
kick
thought.
it.
Say your thought. Say
No,
your
no, no.
thought.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready. I'm listening now. I'm
No,
afraid
it
to
was
go.
a Michael Bay thing because I'm in cinema and a lot of my friends we share a lot of things. So there was a film. I mean, he even posted it to himself, I guess to get ahead of it. But in the shooting of The Last Thing, there was definitely an accident where something went astray that they didn't want to publicize, but you could see it happening. Where the car is coming down and the camera's like on a dolly track on the side, and the cars are coming down. It turns over and it pushes into this other car as the camera's out going sideways. These two like officers or people off duty are running to get away from it. It's all part of the scene, but they don't see it. But the car kind of gets pushed into them and they hit into the camera. The camera pushes down and there's a person that's wedged underneath the
Being
car
crushed.
and it's probably his calf or like the shin or something that's underneath it. I haven't seen this clip in a little bit, but like almost 80% of what I just said was exactly how it happened. Like, like there might be a few things in like other places, but the camera was on the track. The cars came down. It was not supposed to collide with that other car. So now, if you think about it, logistically speaking, you now have an accident on set. You could have lost the camera package that could have gone down for then the day, which now
And
just
everything
not
is
all
wasted.
now the day just goes down. They could definitely source out another camera package in some time, but unfortunately even an hour costs a lot of money because then you're going to go into
That's real.
overtime. So
Real shit.
everything adds up in moments. Now outside of that other economical part, now you're talking about the main thing, which is the safety of these individuals that are trying to create this craft. This actor is running away from this thing in this particular scene, and now he's wedged and something else is going to go astray in his particular life now, or now they have to do more things. The incident for the operator and the camera that could have happened too could have even fallen down and then done more damage to other people surrounding the areas. If that like Chaplin rig like topples over onto something, because it was sideways, like it knocked over. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and for when you're thinking logistically, why do that when you could do it in post?
Do it in post. Good idea.
You could just kind of create these worlds where we're at right now, and it's kind of crazy. And we're really even kind of bridging that world together, like Mandalorian was doing with like the 360 degrees, just putting people inside of these spaces that allows post-production later on to be kind of less taxing. They have to do it more premeditated post-production. They're creating these worlds that they're going to live in, so that way when they shoot them and everything's playing off one another, it's practical and it's real. So pre-production plays at like many points now, and it's beautiful. I think kind of like where it's all going, like the synergy that everything is kind of getting into. Like we're always advancing, and then everything continues to stack on each other and work together. And it's kind of like how film is, like everybody works together like a link on a chain, or like a train, going through from one point to the next point together. And they have a lot of momentum once they kick up speed.
That's a fact, especially in this industry of fucking titans of storytelling.
Yeah, and when it falls off the tracks, you know about the catastrophes instantaneously.
Like the first Sonic design.
Or
because they were like, yeah, we're in post right now. And the people were like, nah, fam, we saw that trailer, no thank you. Or even like
rest in peace, Halyna.
Fucking wait, from what?
Rest in peace, Halyna.
Halyna?
Yeah, from the Russia incident.
Oh, word. So I think that's so. I was talking about this on a previous episode. We took the time to make the space to say our piece and give our condolences. And I think one of the topics that came up within that conversation was sets no longer using real guns. Like The Rock said he was gonna like from now on all the movies he made, he was gonna do not real guns on set and just do everything in everything post-production guns. Fully CGI guns and stuff like that. For me,
Fully
I'm like,
CGI
yo,
guns. Fully
I
CGI
think so.
guns. That's what he said?
I don't know if that's what he said. I might be laying on the mayonnaise here, but he
Okay.
did say he was not going to use real guns on his set. So my mind is thinking fully
Because
CGI
they already don't. So there's already variants of guns on sets. There's ones that do different things for different reasons.
All right, school us. Tell us.
There's non-guns, there's prop guns, and then there's like charges, or I believe those are like the three. Because the ones that you can actually have a squib come out the front, VFX takes that so that you have a practical to kind of work off of. I mean, they could still do it without it. There's ways to do things without it still, but that's to kind of amplify those particular things. And then there's ones where you actually want to see the bullet kind of like fly out of it at the same exact time, which then those are already like crimped up bullets too that are flying out the chambers. So it depends. Are you trying to get the flow of like the hammer and everything go back for like a slow motion shot? Like I'm trying to remember the exact name of the one with Will Smith when it wraps around him in slow motion. Man? No, not Gemini. I mean, it might have done it in Gemini Man too, but it was a Netflix original with him and other beings from like space.
That one. It was like light or bright.
Was it bright? Okay, bright. Yeah. So when the camera wraps around him and goes down and follows the action of the bullet, then going into the person like that, like you
like a corn video. Did you ever seen that corn video? That's like the whole thing. It's like it follows a bullet, and it like just follows the bullet. Just going
Shit. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So it depends on if you're trying to get that moment when the bullet's at least escaping or like that, or because that's going to change like the amount of charges. And then even on set, like a charge is like $7 a charge for the squibs and certain things, depending on the guns, depending on the things that you're doing.
Would you be for no more guns on set, or are you down with keeping? Not that you don't got to be on this ledge. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to die on this ledge if you don't want to, bro. If you don't want to answer this question, you could say I abstain. You can say you abstain, bro.
No, I mean I could say it honestly for what is it, December 27th?
Yeah, something.
2020,
we're past Christmas a little bit.
I mean, to say honestly, up until this point today, it's really hard to probably remove all guns from cinema.
Okay.
As a whole, because there has been hundreds of thousands of guns and billions of bullets that have been shot on film sets throughout the years. And to imagine that they're gone, I'm not saying that, cinema is dead because there's no gun to create violence. Like, no, it won't kill cinema.
It's not gonna do it. Yeah.
No, but it's just it's an incident that we have to take even more seriously. It's not like, okay, that happened, whatever, okay, but we have to be serious about these things, like even more moving forward. I won't name the exact director that I was going to be working with because I don't want to discredit people, but a well-known person wanted to essentially bring their own guns to set. And I was just very much like adamant, like, no, we're not doing that. Even to a point where they're like, we don't need an armor every day. And I said, no, we always need to have an armor
when there's a fucking gun on the, pardon my language, my bad.
Yeah.
Safety first, ladies and gentlemen. Safety first. That's what we believe.
Even if you have regardless on if we could do it for we're shooting for 13 days and you don't want to have them for 3 days and you're just going to use it as a prop, it's just going to be shot. I don't care. Nothing can potentially get mixed into anything. It's not worth anybody's liability. It's not worth anything, and it's just more of saying no and standing your ground and making sure that those things don't happen. So that's kind of what I would say. But it'd be hard to remove all guns from them unless they're given, like, have you ever seen The Other Guys?
Yes, I have.
With Will Ferrell and
Will
Mark Wahlberg.
Ferrell and
Yeah,
yeah.
It's
Seen
almost
it
like,
once.
are you gonna give him like a wooden gun? Like, just like, nah, we're taking away your gun here. You're just gonna hold this because we need to have the point of view from this, and we're gonna do that. Which now it adds even more to kind of just do, I feel like. But augmented reality is pretty crazy nowadays.
I'm saying, like, bro, like
Certain
after
things in post is
Meta's
pretty
about to be
crazy.
like right there. Like they trying to do everything now. Like
Yeah.
Thanos, bro. They did a whole Thanos, bro.
Yeah,
You
I know.
feel me?
It's kind of crazy.
Also, though, I'd love to, as far as we're just talking post-production, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in to IFO Radio. Show your boy William Zillions. We're here with Rob DiCaro. We're fucking seasoned veteran out here in film as a director, photography, cinematographer. We're talking about some of the cool gems of what we're able and capable of doing right now with post-production, with what we're seeing out here on the market, how we're feeling about it as creatives, and how we're feeling about it as storytellers. Because on IFO Radio, I want to focus always on the story. Stories are the most important things, not just for film, but everywhere. Music, the tangible keeping of history, friggin' bedtime. Like stories are necessary, fam. Come along. Came alive with us. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy William Zillions here with IFO Radio. Just want you to know that if you want some really cool gear for your favorite independent filmmaker, you should mosey on over to internationalfilmoperations.com and check out our new indie line. And I think with what we're able to do with visual effects these days in post-production, friggin' I was sort of disappointed in no, I'm not gonna go the negative route. Don't talk about things you don't like, talk about things you do like. The thing I really enjoyed this year as far as martial arts and visual effects, and sort of like the combination of what feels like it's real but it's not versus what's real but feels like it isn't. It's two things. And I'm gonna say these things because they're on two sides of the coin. That's the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
Ooh.
And that's Shang-Chi on the Marvel side. And I think Shang-Chi is like I think it's like the best action movie or Marvel movie or action Marvel movie that's come out this year for a lot of different reasons. But on the topic of martial arts and the interfacing between that seamless cut of what's practical and what's not.
Yeah.
What's the post-production side of it? I think Shang-Chi just shines, man.
Yeah.
The character design, those freaking traditional Chinese lions blew my mind. Really still, the dragon. Listen, if you ain't seen it by now, this is not a spoiler, okay? You had a long time to watch Shang-Chi now, so I'm going to talk how I want to talk about it, all right? However, if you haven't seen it, I urge you to watch it. It's William Zillions, IFO Radio. However, I think like if we do like the comparison between the two, Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League, it did a lot to enrich the story that I think was
essential.
Essential.
Yeah.
But also he had scenes that were fully CG that were really long focuses on a single moment. Like that scene when, so at the beginning, Wonder Woman breaks to the door, boom. She goes through the room, sees that there's like multiple hostages taken and multiple gunmen. She surveys the area, super speed, so she has time to analyze while all these other fuckers are moving slowly. Bullets start flying in her direction. She surveys that, moving at hyper speed. All of these things are not something that I felt like have really been focused on with Wonder Woman visually. as far as her flex on super speed and hyper awareness and really being super strong. This movie I feel like captured it visually very well within this sequence of events. She's dodging bullets. That seamless scene when she's like blocking bullets from hitting the hostages, but
Yeah.
she's like fucking MMA grappling over like
Yeah, to each one of them, and she
jujitsu
slides through the yeah.
shuffling over. I'm like, yo, like, but none of that was real. All of that was CGI. All of it was done in post. Like, it accentuated the story in such a way that, like, as a fan of old school 2D animation, which we don't really get like that anymore. You know, like
No.
we don't get any 2D
course.
animation stuff like that anymore.
No.
And I'm a huge fan of reading comics as a traditional medium. That action sequence and what they were able to accomplish visually with their posts, their visual effects, their special effects, however the terminology of it, it was like direct from the page action. It looks so seamless, and I never felt like I was ever taken out from the universe. I never felt like I had a suspended belief for not 1 second that I feel like I wasn't watching Diana do her numbers on a squad full of banshees. They're not nothing to her. But and then the heart of it, the timing of it, they did like a side by side comparison of the
the two videos from the regular movie and then that one.
The Joss Whedon versus the Zack Snyder, and just like there's a timing element here as well. Like, how long should we focus on a subject? You know, like some of those scenes where we're looking at her, Gal Gadot. Hello, my name is William. It's like, it's important to keep looking at her. The struggle is on her. We need to focus on her. It's not about all of this quick cut stuff, which when it comes to action, I don't like quick cut fight sequences. Snake Eyes was a huge disappointment for me as far as like an experience, an entire product. You know, when I pushed play on it, they had all of these outstanding on-screen fighters. They had my man from Warrior, who plays Sam, I forgot his fucking name. The main character from Warrior on HBO Max. It was originally a Cinemax original.
No, I know Warrior.
That show was amazing. Okay, they had my man's from who starred in.
Wait, are you talking about the TV series or the movie? Are you talking about the movie or the series?
The series.
Oh, okay. I know the movie. I don't know the
movie's
series.
Fire. That's that's
Tom
Hardy doing his numbers.
Yeah, and Joel.
Yeah,
but I'm now when I otherwise I looked up what you're talking about. I haven't seen this
Warrior.
show.
I urge you to watch it. As far as like and they do this really outstanding thing with the language.
Okay.
So it's like they do these seamless. The first time I watched the show, I didn't even catch it. They do these really seamless like transitions into like English, between English and some dialect of Chinese.
Okay.
And we're hearing them speak English, but to all of the people around, they're like in the universe, they're still speaking that dialect of Chinese. So like it'll flow from like within the scene, it'll be them talking, but it's from the perspective of them and us. So they're speaking English, but then the people in the room, you know, historically, a bunch of white buddies just listening in the room, some Chinese cats are like, yo, what the fuck? We don't fuck with y'all. Y'all ain't from here. Then they're speaking Chinese, and that's all they know them to speak. And they do it so seamlessly. They use it as an element to enrich the depth of how these characters are trying to thrive in a space where they absolutely are met with nothing but disdain and spits and shit in the face, utter disrespect for the sake of them just trying to live. It's really cool. It's really interesting stuff. You should check it out. And it's all martial arts too. And it's with martial arts. And it's all like long single shot stuff. None of that quick stuff, which is why I'm like, oh, it's just so weird that quick cut action I'm not a big fan of. However, in your experience, some of the stuff that you've worked on, it's been a long year. where do you, in your heart of hearts, from this day moving forward, what would you like to? Actually, no, no. I want to reformat this question.
Take your time.
So I'm gonna start it off like this because this is how I like to start it off. What genre is your favorite genre to work on? And what genre is your favorite genre to watch? And are those answers the same or are they different?
Oof. I got to think about that for just like 20 seconds.
Take your
Nah.
time. I'm not going anywhere. IFO Radio, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with Rob DiCaro, and we're wondering what his favorite genre of movie is to watch versus what genre does he prefer to work upon, and are those genres of movies the same exact thing or do they differ? I'm just so nosy.
I would say suspense, thriller, like mystery, sci-fi. Definitely in that vein.
Is that watching or working?
That I would probably like to be doing both. That I and well, because I feel like within suspense you could have deep drama and you have heavy decisions that need to be made, which is what makes you feel like you're going through that. And the moments that you feel also like the thrill is kind of in the execution of those things, that you know that these are genuine rides that we're going on, and it feels like we're doing these things. It's not just action, which you get those beats in those moments still inside of it, but it's a little bit different. I would
Less distraction.
hate to work on a comedy movie as an editor. As an editor, that sounds terrible. For me, I love watching comedy, but it's an honest art. It's an honest to God art. Like, comedy to write is extremely hard. Comedy to shoot is extremely difficult. And then to edit it is marrying those two worlds together and then understanding how the audience is going to perceive him beat by beat. And it's so hard on a broad stroke to kind of get that. You have a lot more. It's like that's the hardest, and then you have like the opposite side of the spectrum is a horror, where you could be kind of forgiving with like hack slash movies and like these like rough camera angles and like rough like visual things and or rough audio. You could be like, oh yeah, they're going through the shit right now. It's like it's cool. Rustling. It makes sense. Like, oh, I feel like this is crazy, but you can't put that anywhere else.
No.
And so like this is another side of the spectrum. Like, this is tough to do, but I love, like, this is tough and I would hate to do it. Like,
that would be good though. You would probably make a gem of a comedy movie just because you feel that way though.
Oh,
I feel like if you had to, like if they just popped you on a project and shit and you just couldn't say no.
I'm writing one. Like, I write stories. But it's the hardest thing to have to kind of to do it to the next one. So that's why I'm like, I would hate to have to edit it. Like, because the timing, I'm sure, is going to be like another thing of things. But
whole thing.
Timing's
like a whole. Like, timing is like Kairos. Kairos in comedy is everything, fam. It's like it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. So that's where it's like, I think the perfect spectrum where you get like really beautiful scores that you could kind of work adjacent to inside of like, you know, feature films there. And then you can really like dive into that and have like kind of slower, more heartfelt things too, where the editing maybe not be as like aggressive, but story wise, you could be right, like really in the meat of it all. You know what I mean?
I do.
So I feel like that's like a perfect spectrum. And that's, you know, I feel like we kind of can thrive if people want to take risks.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the risk is what pay off in comedy though, for real. Like, if you're willing to go for it and it feels like it sticks and lands organically. It's like even it's funny because, you know, not everything is funny forever.
No.
Very small some things
don't age well.
Funny forever. A lot of shit
doesn't age well.
It's not okay. Like,
doesn't age well.
Like, I even watched Pineapple Express recently, and I'm like, this is not that funny to me. Like, But when I
were you
first
right?
watched it, I was dying. I was
Yeah, of
dying of
course.
laughter.
Yeah.
But
It's tough.
it is because comedy, what people find funny, especially now, like where we're in this space where viewers are often very concerned with a wider spectrum of concerns with
Yeah.
what they're watching. They're a bit more aware of what they're pushing play on to some degree.
And they're trying to be cognizant so that
Try to
when
be
they're watching
cognizant
it
of
in
what they
like 10 to
allow.
20 years that they didn't have to double back and fucking get rid of some shit. Yeah.
But I don't know if they I personally just don't know if it's because people want that or if it's because people are becoming more aware of being seen and information and data being seen. So maybe people on the low just don't want to be seen seeing certain things. However,
it's fucked up.
that's I don't even know where I got that from. That was from a dark corner of my mind. I probably shouldn't even pull that out.
No.
However,
No, it's
Fuck
true.
it.
I mean, we've lived in a society where we only show you what you need to see.
Yeah,
and or what we want people to see, and people are fucked up, unfortunately. And when you kind of can see it in like these micro expressions, it kind of sheds light on that, and that's what's kind of happening to so many people. You're seeing these micro nuances that are shedding light and making people go down the rabbit holes. Like, what else is there? Let me see, and then we find out more and more and more of like these volatile things of humans. And I don't know if you watched Dexter at all.
I watched the first season of Dexter.
Okay, well, this in this new one, this isn't a spoiler at all, but he kind of says like a really, really good line, which I'm probably gonna butcher essentially, is about like being a hero and a monster, and it's about who wins at the end. We're kind of all part hero, we're all kind of part monster, and it's like who outwins these particular things. And if that kind of makes sense, I'm not saying that people are gross and disgusting. I'm just saying like people have the potential of being not very righteous and not very heartfelt or conscientious and empathetic, and it's unfortunate. But
on the other side of the same coin, people have the spectrum and ability to shine above and rise above all of that.
Yeah.
But it is that fight, it is that tug and pull, and what our choices and decisions, our actions, what our actions are that ultimately decide which one we're feeding.
And
it's I think like
yeah,
what you go, you go.
I was gonna say, like, when I did acting school, it kind of helped me to learn that about humans. Is like, without words, you still say so much, and even with certain words, you say so much with your delivery and your intentions and your body language. So like I studied Meisner, which is about like almost micro expressions and understanding the root of it and why people speak a certain way or act a certain way, and kind of being able to discern and read through the bullshit.
Is Meisner like repeating a line? Am I bugging?
Yeah.
Right,
good job,
okay,
man.
Yeah. Look, guys. Look.
Good shit.
Look. I'm the host of IFO Radio, bro.
Yeah.
Look, I love film and shit.
Yeah, that's in the repetition. It's like the words will bring you to the intentions. And that's why sometimes, like, even in interviews, maybe, like when people are trying to get the truth out of somebody, like they ask them the question in different variant ways to see how it goes. Like they did that when we were
job applications.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, even when we were in like 8th fucking grade and 6th grade, they give you a test and have all these different things, and they just see like, oh, I don't know, maybe it was just like a fluke. But you have to get tested. You get tested. I was on a reality show like a couple of years back, and when they were doing the interviewing questions, they asked like 100 questions, and there's variant ones of all those questions, just so they have bits and pieces to kind of use the story and piece it how they want. Because there's prerogatives and for people, and like certain prerogatives or certain people will only take certain words and place them with other things, like blah, blah, blah. You get it. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And people don't even be noticing the cuts, because they'll just like throw something full screen over.
Yeah.
Throw something full screen over on the on the cut of it, and it looks seamless.
And it also discredits people, like unfortunately Johnny Depp. Like he definitely got the short end of that stick. Like he didn't deserve that at all.
Listen, man. Well, honestly, at the end of the day, I think real ones will still remain, will still thrive in their own ways. I don't know not a single person on the planet who wouldn't want to work with Johnny Depp and it's a lot of great creators out here. And and on the level of independent creation, like being a creator, it doesn't take a massive studio's backing anymore. And you don't got to be the guy behind the camera, but you don't have to be the guy or girl behind the camera, but you can be if you want to. But there's tons of opportunities throughout the industry of film that you can implement your skill set to bring about the creation of an awesome movie for us to push play upon, or a television show if that's what you're into. Look, I think that there's like I said, post-production right now with the technology that we have makes me the most excited ever I've been to be able to watch movies. So I'm a big time Ninja Turtle fan. I keep bringing this up. But
you want to see this stuff happen. Yeah, you want
You know what I'm saying? Look, but when I watched the first film today, I placed my fan of love and compassion over it, my blanket of it over the movie, because there's certain parts where you can see under the neck like that there's like a human in there. You can see through the mouth that there's like a person in there, like there's like certain movements that are just too far past the capacity of what that practical moment was able to provide. But nonetheless, the moments though, the sequences, the performance of the performers brought shit alive for real.
Yeah.
Jim Henson touching this shit, fam. The puppeteer of puppeteers, the Geppetto of the flex game. Look, when it comes to aesthetics of like practical magic in film, there's two people that I think of. It's Guillermo and it's Jim Henson. Like, I would love for Guillermo to touch this movie because of this IP. That's because everything else is like, we know they got to be funny. So there's a lot of cheap jokes, cheap pizza jokes. We know that we can do a lot with visuals. So hence the 2014, 2016 movie drops that happened that didn't really look they didn't look traditionally acceptable. I'll say that. They look cool, just not what I was expecting. The human actors weren't that great to me for this movie. Will Arnett, no, I don't need that level of comedic relief right now. Get him out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Paul Rudd
in the TMNT movie. Yo, not for that. Look, we just talking now. I want a Spice Girls biopic, and I want it to be called "If You Want to Be My Lover," and I want Zendaya. I want Zendaya as Scary Spice, and I want Issa Rae to.
That's so funny you said that. I was watching a clip earlier today where Nikki said to Zendaya that she wanted her to play her in a biopic.
Mm-hmm. Everybody wants Zendaya to play her in a biopic and shit.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Like, there's tons of movies that I think that on the creative space, and I don't need big blockbuster anymore because I don't even really need I don't mind being at home for films, and I know that's a conversation.
Wait, what you mean?
I don't mind being at home for films. I think
what's your sound system like though?
It's pretty decent. It's not horrible. Like, I got a nice little like Bluetooth soundbar that's pretty chunky. Like, it sounds really decent. So, but I know what you're saying. But that's why I don't think the movie theaters are a CD. I don't think the movie theaters are a CD. Like, I think that the format of movies in a theater will always be supplemental no matter what evolutionary changes the industry makes. But I do enjoy what COVID gave to us in the realm of I have the choice of buying or renting this movie to watch at home. Like, I think it's fire. Like, I don't want to leave. I just got home. I was at work all day.
I understand. It definitely does change elements in it though.
Look, that's why I like talking to filmmakers. They don't fuck around with that talk, okay?
Yeah.
The theaters are forever. And I do believe that because there's a magic to it. It's something that you can't get at home that I felt the other day watching Spider-Man. Being in that crowd, like where everybody's reacting to the same thing organically without control, like without no volume meter. Like everybody's just wailing. I had a kid on both sides of me. This kid over here was like, oh, he was screaming the name of every character that came on the screen. And he was like, oh my gosh, Dr. Strange.
Yeah.
You know, on this side of me was like, yo, shut the fuck up. They were both kids cursing at each other. It was wonderful. You can't get that at home. You know what I'm saying?
No. I mean, I remember the first time I worked at, my first job was actually at AMC movie theaters.
Yeah.
And I remember the midnight release of Iron Man 1. And I actually, me and my friend, we saw 5 movies that night. But we only saw 2 different films. So we watched.
You watched 2 and 3.
So we watched Iron Man 3 times, and we watched Harold and Kumar escape from Guantanamo Bay twice. In between it up, because we had to kill time in between the showings. In between things, because we were there. It was like a 7:00 showing, and then because that was the OGs, like the real like diehard fans were at that one, and then we had the midnight releases. And at those shows, the energy that you get from the people and the camaraderie, and like, I don't know, when you get to see those things on screen, and even when I saw Avengers like Endgame too, it's like all those moments, like, I don't know, it's that's not the cinema like ambience always, but it definitely does drive another point of it home. It's like the score of a film that you also hear at the same time, you know, feeling it at your core, like feeling immersed. Like you could be easily distracted sometimes, like if you're watching something at home and you hear something over there, and you're kind of instantly kind of drawn and taken away. But when you step into the theater, you've now have given up 2 hours, an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours and 45 minutes of your time where you're not looking away. And there essentially isn't anything else to kind of distract you unless you got to go to the restroom, or unless you're hungry and you want to grab something, or you need a drink and you got to step away for a quick second. Other than that, this is your world, and that's it. So that's when you're like enamored and engulfed inside of it, that I would say. The other side of the spectrum that it also affects, outside of the viewing aspect, is the economical aspect of it too. Now let's say
a CD. That's what we talking about.
So I mean, if you and like 5 other heads are like watching the movie, that's going to cost what, $25. And instead of it giving 150 to the box office, where it could have been 150, and now maybe two or three of you in the future decide to buy for $15, and now that's 45 on top of the 150, and now that's like $175, or $100 and what am I saying? $185. You know what I'm saying? So and then economically, it's like 25 to 185. Like, what could you have gotten? And not to say like, okay, well, it's a money thing, but honestly, it's like all these people are doing all these things to create this art and this craft, and that's even why the union
to yield the most.
Yield that and like tell the story, and it requires those people, and those people are worth a certain value, and they're already fighting for more money to be kind of reallocated to them right now, because they're also not paid appropriately, like to certain degrees and standards above and below the line, or below the line. So like, if you start to chip away, it makes it even harder for like the higher ups to then, you know, reallocate those finances. For sure. And it also like, I don't know. I think it definitely would ruin a lot of things as far as current day opportunities and how the structure of it all works right now. But in that struggle, I think that there would be a level of evolution that is kind of too far down the road to really talk about right now. But I do think that like, I think we could see maybe with VR, with how VR is doing, where it's like, go ahead.
But let me ask you this though, because like video games now are mostly films where you just chime in on.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they're like high intensity films that are highly interactive, that you have some sort of deeper control of it. You know, you have more moments where you can chime in and do something in the scene versus like a movie you just stuck watching, right? But the capabilities of it is all growing. It's all fostering how we're experiencing it, how we're all storing it, how we're all rushing for stuff now. Like content needs to be felt faster than ever before. Television shows are prospering because of that, because people like to be able to have access to stuff consistently, continuously. Fucking, do you think that there's a space for, in this, where we are right now in this current arena, for big time theaters or houses or studios to give the option, to continue to keep the option of the at home view? Or do you prefer the prioritization of straight to theater? Which do you prefer right now as a viewer and as a creator?
I think that um yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough to say. I do like the option for having certain cinema options at home, like readily available.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's so tough to say. I was gonna say because AMC, they already have like the AMC pass, and Regal has their pass, so it's not even
Mhm.
like they really generate a lot of their
A
money
lot of money. I feel you.
from their ticket sales, because their ticket sales are
Concessions.
yeah, it's the concessions that they're really making the money. I mean, it helps in the validation on proof of concepts and or like series, like feature ideas. Like when a movie gets released, you have your box office release, which kind of sets a standard somewhat in people's eyes for like how well something did and the reach and the grab of it. And if something is a box office like success right off the jump, it's going to get more publicity and more people are going to be like, oh, in the coming weeks they're going to go out and like see it more, and then you're going to see the hype like, oh, it's getting this and this and this, and it will keep that trajectory kind of going. Where if something doesn't, it's kind of like, oh, it didn't do that well, and the people are like, oh, it didn't do that well, I'm not going to even bother going.
Yeah, that's
I'm not even
real.
going to bother seeing
That's
it.
real. That's real.
So sometimes like the box office affects things, so that's where I'm like, it's good and it's bad, because like if you have a really good box office and you get to do really well, then people may want to take more risk on your ideas because it could generate the amount of revenue to showcase why they should take another risk on you.
I
Because all
feel
these
you.
people are taking risks at the end of the day. If the concept's like $100 million and you only generate 70 million, it makes it kind of difficult to want to do something on that same spectrum
But
exactly again. They
that's
could get
why,
up. Go ahead.
question though, because we talking this right now, and we've been talking, like, at least to me, it seems like we've been discussing like larger format movies, but this is IFO Radio. So now, because I'm interested, the reason why I feel like we should do more at home big premieres and stuff, because I think that would be the equalizer for independent filmmakers. Like, I'm wondering, what is the distro kit of film? You feel me? Like, what is the distro kit of film? You know what I mean? And this is I know this is a convo. Didn't mean to walk into this one. I'm sorry. I did not. This is long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's all good.
But I'm
I got
curious though,
opinions.
because we talking about it now. Like, what is that process for independent filmmakers to have that avenue to actually play with the big leagues? Because I mean, I know that there's film festivals, international film operations, IFO Radio. But I'm curious on like what the next step in evolution is for, like, because you make movies, you know what I'm saying? Like, you not, and you are aware that there's like a upper echelon stature of them, right? There's monsters out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
In any industry. So like, but we're talking about for me, when I'm having this conversation, I'm thinking the evolution of the space of opportunity, not just for storytellers, but for us. Because this always comes down to the people who love it, the people who want to watch. And in this space where it's just content on content on content and content, we just need an endless stream of it. I'm here for the fans. That's why I'm here. We have questions. So
Uh,
do you think, like, would you even be open to that? Like, are you even open to the industry evolving in that kind of way? Or do you think like the preservation of what is and what has became standard is
No, I
where
don't
do
think
you
anything should stay kind of stagnant like that, really, ever, especially for a long time. The world evolves, we evolve, things need to continue to evolve and change
I
and,
like it.
grow. So I don't think it should ever stay stagnant. I think that there's a balance and a spectrum scale, essentially, though, for it. If you were to oversaturate the market in too broad of a spectrum, you might miss out on making some opportunities. To circle back to even perfect moment media, like it really is, not everything is the perfect moment for something, and not everything needs to be made today, even though it is a phenomenal idea and it could be really great. Today might not be the perfect day. This might not be the perfect marketplace right now for the idea. Doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's not going to work. Look at Squid Games. You got turned down for 10 years. If it came out 10 years ago where Netflix potentially didn't have the same exact platform to kind of showcase and show it, it wouldn't have gotten the amount of revenue and streams that it did and be able to get perpetuated to the next things. Unfortunately, you have to be persistent. You
Mm-hmm.
could stand your ground and stand by your stories, but it doesn't mean that it needs to happen today. And it doesn't mean that if it doesn't happen today, it won't be a success. It could be a raging success still.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like having the right people, having the right tools, having the right resources and everything at the right time will help you to kind of tell the story the best way. Because you don't want to hinder yourself before you get started. Like, yeah. I mean, we already have YouTube, which is already a platform to kind of showcase and do it for yourself. And you could already create these movies and kind of
That's
test
true.
out these things as it
Mhm.
is. You already have like this transitional aspect. But to get to the next one where you're trying to showcase cinema, you don't want to add a disdain or a distaste for yourself because you could have had maybe another person come on and give you their opinion, which could have developed the story in another way, which could have amplified even more and more things about it.
Yeah, that's
Do you
true.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
again, in the perfectly imperfect moment, it's finding that it's saying and accepting that as a creative, we're so headstrong and we believe so much in these things and it's amazing, but
Mhm.
you gotta do these other things too at the same exact time and be
Yeah.
aware of that. And if you're going to be aware of that, what can you do premeditatedly to kind of get everything that you need to together and ready for it? And then the thing after that and after that, because now you just open up that door. You just
Mm-hmm.
open up that door. What do you have next?
Yeah, you ready now? Go in there. You ain't even got to think about it. Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel you, man. Friggin' A, dog. Yo, look. As far as subject matter experts goes, ladies and gentlemen, sir, I greatly appreciated being able to speak with you tonight, for real, and being able to delve into the topic of post production and being able to get some of your key gems. I'm gonna get into this last question that I always close off the episodes off with, but and it's usually like it sounds something like um, we love to show love to filmmakers at all levels of expertise. You know what I'm saying? We want to always walk away with a lesson. So I have to ask you, uh, in your journey of film, any advice that you would have to offer any newer or any experienced filmmakers out there, any gems that you would want to leave off, starting with what would you do differently if you could change anything on your filmmaking journey?
Um, Man, so actually, just be patient. Honestly, patient, not even just with others, but with yourself.
Mhm,
Um, be vulnerable
mhm,
and be honest. Like, if you're a creator that's trying to create a story, even if you sit down and like write for that day, it doesn't matter if you get anything amazing. You sat down and you tried, and for that, commend yourself and appreciate yourself. And in the moments in between, the beauty, because everybody focuses on the end and like this is everything else, but this is actually where you've learned so much that's going to take you from this to the next, and then the next and the next. It's the in between moments of self-appreciation that you're doing. So be patient with yourself, be vulnerable to kind of, give yourself up and like just see how things go. And if it doesn't, you tried, great job, you go right back to it. You try to do something in post, you gave it an effort, you did all these things, it takes hours and hours to do. If it doesn't work, it's okay. You had to do it, you had to know. You know what I mean? You have to just take these risks and take up this time. It's like throughout the entire process. So just be patient. And yeah, things will kind of transpire as that. And the more
be patient, be vulnerable. I love that, man. That's like really good. I think that's something I feel is any creator. No, you go ahead. You let the people know.
But yeah, being vulnerable is a beautiful thing, but always, protect your energy, because people also in the industry will try to siphon you and try to drain you out, and you could feel really used. So love yourself as well and respect yourself. Don't put yourself in situations that you feel are unappropriate, not right, that you shouldn't be in or anything. Reach out to other people and just kind of be honest with them and see how they feel, like see how that could have gone, and be conscious of yourself. And if you're not sure about giving an answer about something, take time to think about it. Don't be afraid to think about things before you have to do things. You know what I mean? Don't just act because you feel like you have to. So yeah, patience, mindfulness, and vulnerability. Or vulnerable with mindfulness to love yourself. Yeah. Because you have to deal with it after the fact.
Distinction. There's a distinction here, ladies and gentlemen. He laid it out. There's some that's a key distinction here. I like that a lot.
I'll say I worked on a series with somebody for about 3 years, and we had an amazing deal about to go through and happen with a contingency with an option, and with oversight and overlooking. A partner of mine overlooked and did something that was unfortunate, and we miss out on these things. And people, it's like you could be mindful, but you got to be you can be vulnerable, but you got to be very mindful, because some people will try to take advantage of you. Some people, and you think like, oh no, they wouldn't have tried to do that. Why would they try to do that? Like, we've done X, Y, and Z together for years and years. Be mindful. Love yourself, respect yourself.
Yeah, love yourself, respect yourself. That's like, in case I have any non-filmmaker listeners out there, love yourself and respect yourself. That's a Rob DiCaro quote, you know what I'm saying? So just do what he says. If you're a creator, no matter what you do, I love music. That's what I do. I do some content creation on YouTube. If you love yourself properly, respect yourself and your craft, and then it'll only enrich the productivity that you put out into the world. Man, Rob DiCaro, ladies and gentlemen, you feel me? Do me a favor. Can you tell the people where they can find you, where they can, if there's anything they should be keeping an eye out from you for in the coming quarters? You know what I'm saying? I know we have the website, perfectmomentmedia.com. Where can we find you? Where will the people find the DiCaro?
Yeah, otherwise then my Instagram is RDiCaro, so it's RDICARO. But also supposed to have had a movie that was showcasing at Sundance in January. That I DP'd, but we, like a few weeks ago, one of our editors unfortunately passed away from COVID. So we've been going through that. So we've been playing the race right now. This is really unfortunate. We've been playing the race to kind of getting those last pieces. Otherwise, we expect that to be then just out next year regardless, but Sundance would have been super nice to have alongside of it.
For sure. Perfect timing too. It's like right there, January.
Yeah. But having that story and then even more stories superseding that one, getting even more to the heart of everything.
You're more interested in big Hollywood, or you look more interested in independent filmmaking? Which one's drawing you in long term?
Big end. Well, it's a tough thing, because honestly, at a point in time, I would love to be like what A24 was. but in a different like retrospective vein. I feel like A24 opened up and started as a really great indie platform for people to create these avant-garde and like beautiful like films.
Yes.
But then I think their marketplace changed, and I know people that have worked with them, which unfortunately has not been as professional or as ideally, a set that they would want to be a part of again. And for those reasons, I would say I would want to do like A24 did, giving a platform to people, but differently. And then kind of bridging those gaps, as you're saying, in between cinema. So that would be the goal. So as a broad stroke, it would be smack dab in the middle.
Right in the middle. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, honestly, bro, it's a magical time of year. Why? Because we're alive. We got air in our lungs. Hearts are
Definitely.
beating. We're able to communicate and do so in a healthy way to build towards new bonds, new friendships, new conversations and stuff in the realm of talking about things we love already. And we're not even in the same state. You feel me? Like this is
Yeah.
the perfect time ever to be alive as a creative, I think. And with the topic of pre-production, which is what this conversation was about, as a fan of it. Oh, I can't wait to see what else comes at us within the next coming years. Real fast before we go, what was your favorite movie of 2021? Post,
Oof.
we could say off. I won't even go. We won't even make it deep. Favorite movie of
Actually,
2021.
well,
You can choose two.
I was really hopeful that you were gonna say Shang-Chi. I was
Yeah,
really hopeful that you were gonna say that because I actually love that film.
that movie's beautiful.
I
In
thought that
mad
they did a
ways.
really good job to kind of shed light in a great way and really also give a really good original like story.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like even this like the overall shots that they did and then the transition into the post and like into the VFX that they were doing was also really done so seamlessly, and it just felt like such a good cohesive film, I would say. I mean, that's I was really happy that you said that. Not my favorite film of the year, but I was really happy you said that because I couldn't agree more. I thought that that was a great like overall film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think about another one this year that I was really enamored with. Man, I watched. I know I watched so many. I watched so
You
many
got
films
options.
throughout the years, and I'm trying to think about like, did that come out this year? I'm trying to remember
Damn, what
right
a
now.
long year. What do
Yeah,
we have this year?
I
Yeah,
know recently. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I might be stuck with that particular answer right now
that's
off the
cool.
jump.
I'll take Shang-Chi. I will take Shang-Chi as an answer for this question right now because it was an excellent film. It
Yeah,
had
now
a
I'm
lot
trying
of
to.
heart. They had conversations, like certain of there were some parts where the theme of family in the film got really, really true to my heart for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Made me want to like tear up a little bit. Um, some of the like quick reactions from once they got into the other dimension, his mother's home, and like the woman with the arrows. She's like, you guys fucking Aquafina and shit. She's all like,
Oh, she did great in it.
yo,
I mean,
Aquafina
and
killed this shit.
I don't want to say her name wrong. One second. Matrix, because she was in the Matrix. I don't want to say it wrong. Jessica Henwick. She was in the Matrix, and she was supposed to be Aquafina's character actually,
What?
but she turned it.
Oh, I
But
know who you talking about. Shorty from Iron Fist.
yeah, and but
Yeah.
she turned it down though, and I think
Oh.
that Aquafina is like the perfect role still for that movie. And I feel like Jessica was the like an amazing role in the Matrix,
Yeah.
because just to circle back, I don't want to give discredit or bad, because I love
No.
Keanu. I love Keanu Reeves, and like so I think that that was a great film for Jessica too. I think she had a great role in that movie,
Mhm.
because it was something that was new and it felt fresh and it was different. So that was nice, and they gave her an opportunity to shine.
Mhm. For sure.
Um, so I'll say that.
She was like a highlight. She was like one of the highlights of the movie actually to me.
Yeah.
Like, her sort of actually without her character setting these waves into motion, some of these other things couldn't have really taken place.
Well, essentially, she was one of the dominoes. It was her, and then Morpheus as the domino pieces. She was set. Well, I don't want to spoil, but you know what I'm saying. Like she had that thing that happened, and he had his own thing that happened, and then they all had a thing that happened. You know?
Like, check it out, yo. The Matrix is interesting. Watch the movie. We'll come back and talk about it as a friend group and shit.
Different.
Fucking, ladies and gentlemen, Rob DiCaro. Thank you so much for taking your time for joining us here on IFO Radio, chopping it up with me about post-production, schooling us on some of your expertise, and letting us into your world a little bit. I greatly appreciate that. You know, here we love to highlight storytellers. We love to, show the listeners and some of the newer people to this industry conversation that, like, there's nothing but heart coming from the creators, nothing but like endless amounts of like passion and compassion and empathy and struggle and good times that creators are putting together to tell stories that will definitely, to me, from what I've been able to see from the independent filmmakers here at the IFO, that I think will be the greatest stories of tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So like,
well, yeah, the next genre of creations.
We out here. Like, they out here. I'm watching. I say we loosely. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching. But I know that there's like so much more to come. Post-production's only advancing. And any goals? You want to say any goals before we go? Goals are good.
This is actually an old expression of mine, and I'm not against it still today, but just saying, this is my old expression that I used to say all the time throughout film school. I'm trying to Ben Affleck this shit, writer, director, and then one day I'll be Batman.
I like it. And bag of J-Lo. I like it, bro. I like it. I want to be Batman too, but I'm gonna probably just be Jason Momoa. That's kind of fire too. Get like a little baddie, a little older baddie.
I mean, they're not together, but I love Zoe. I've worked with Zoe a bunch of times, and she is such an amazing,
seems like a really amazing cool person.
She's an amazing human. Yeah, she really is. The last thing that we did was a passion project, and I remember the beginning of the day. I've already worked with her before at this time, but she was just going up to everybody. It's like, hey, how you doing? Have a great one. Have a good day. Have a good day. Right at the start of it, when everybody's like kind of coming in. So yeah, well, yeah, she's just also a human, and she's kind of making sure that you understand, like, oh yeah, don't be afraid to like talk to me or anything else. Like, I'm just a homie, and she's literally just in like just straight chilling clothes. Like, it doesn't have to be anything else. And like get to work with a lot of people, and they're really just homies, honestly.
It's necessary. You know? Everybody there to get a job, and everybody wants to see a great movie be made, and I'm with that too, because I'm here to push play. Yeah. Bring your name, man. Look, this is IFO Radio. This is episode 8. Give it up for our guest, Rob DiCaro. Check him out on all of his social medias. It's R DiCaro.
Yeah, R DiCaro. And then also my emails outside of my website, Perfect Moment Media, is perfectmomentmedia@gmail.com.
At gmail.com, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for taking this ride with us. I know we went a couple places tonight, and I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like to keep it enriched on this with the conversation here on IFO Radio with y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm your boy William Zillions. Who are we? We're IFO Radio. You know what I'm saying? An international film festival that exhibits films and gives opportunities to storytellers on a mission to provide a rewarding experience to filmmakers all around the world. Why are we the best? Because we care more about filmmakers and making them tell their stories with their limited assets and skills and resources. Because the filmmaker deserves more than just credits, bro. We exhibit, judge, review, promote, reward, experience, and new filmmakers. You feel me? Because they deserve to be able to compete with the best around the world and have their stories told and highlighted endlessly here on IFO Radio, man. Episode 8. We'll be back with another one. Stay true. Still too full.
Why they speak like they knew me? Right from the gate, I had all of it written. When they speak of grace, knowing they didn't include me. It took me a while. I weathered the storm. Bitch, why you hating? Get better informed. No room to slip when the pressure is on. You wasn't with it to move it along. I said, excuse me. You don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world on span, cross the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up. Bitch,